Opium, the exotic sister of morphine and heroin. But why is it known as exotic or oriental? And what if we, Great Britain, have more to do with this connotation than we might think? Opium consumption in China dates back to the 15th century as both a medicine and elite pastime. But its prohibition began in the late 18th century to tackle increasing addiction rates. At this time, the British wanted tea. Tea could only be bought from China and only with silver. But without enough silver, the Brits turned to China's tightly controlled vice, opium. In exchange for silver to buy more tea, the British East India Company smuggled opium grown on British Indian land into China, fueling nationwide addiction and starting 2 wars when China tried to put an end to the trade. American historian of Chinese studies John King Fairbank calls this the most long-continued and systematic international crime of modern times. Meanwhile in Britain, opium wasn't exotic at all. It was known as laudanum, a common painkiller that, like in China, had been around since the 1500s. But things changed when the first waves of Chinese immigrants, often ex-sailors of the British East India Company, started settling in Western cities like London, San Francisco, and New York. Fear of the unknown, and especially a fear of race mixing, drove the press to spin tales of Chinese men luring white women into seedy opium dens, which writers like Charles Dickens and Oscar Wilde described as dark, foreign, and dangerous. And these descriptions found their way into the law, with the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act in the US and Britain's Dangerous Drugs Act of 1920, both using opium as justification to target Chinese immigrant communities. Cinema also contributed by casting Chinese supervillain, predator, and opium lord Fu Manchu, played by these actors, and even censored Chinese-American actress Anna May Wong from kissing white men on screen. But in reality, the opium-driven Yellow Peril was but a sensationalist fantasy. Records of London's Limehouse, long painted as a hub of Chinese opium crime, showed almost no real evidence of opium dens operating in the area. Instead, it was home to some of Britain's first interracial British-Chinese families, a thriving multicultural community where mixed-race children of the time spoke fondly of their formative years. So Britain's opium myth is mostly smoke and mirrors. A dragon invented to be chased, a remnant of empire, a tool to demonize immigrants and stop interracial marriage, all while Britain's role as the dealer has been conveniently erased.